Good evening, everybody. This is the Mad Professor from the Two Cigars and a Blunt podcast, coming on Friday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, followed by the Ashed Out After Show, normally 10 minutes later, and on Wednesdays, the Better Than Sex Sports podcast, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. And I was really hoping I would never have to make a video like this. I mean, nothing major like that. So don't go, oh my goodness, what's going on? No, it's just something I have to say. And I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, which will explain the rough look. I've been trying some editing stuff that I don't care for, like removing my background post recording rather. So I'm not going to worry about doing it. I just have to get this off my mind while I'm still hot and bothered about it. Um, the classic movie, The Wizard of Oz, there's a line in it that says, "Please pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." And what it was the wizard. He knew the jig was up. He knew that somebody was going to discover that the all powerful Oz wasn't who he said it was, who the fable that he had put out. So he was telling Dorothy and her compatriots not to pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Um, Donald Trump is kind of doing the same thing, except behind the curtain is Congress, the Republican-led Congress, House of Representatives and Senate. While Donald Trump is out in public saying the stupidest, I mean, just the dumbest things he could think of on his mind to get the media and yourselves and myself and me rather distracted. What he's been doing, what Congress has been doing in the shadows behind the curtain, is they're trying to pass a nationwide law that would mandate if you don't have a birth certificate or access to your birth certificate or a passport, you can't vote. They want to override states' rights. So so much for states' rights when it doesn't, when he won't like what's going on. Um, Also, he's trying to mandate that states won't be able to accept money from the Department of Education because he's going to get rid of it, so that money is now be going into the hands of any organization that he sees fit. Also, the real president, Elon Musk, and his foolish Doge department is attempting to take over USAID, the money that the banking system that the United States uses to give aid to other countries and pay its bills and things like that. He is effectively taken over the U.S. Treasury. Um, so Donald Trump has put in place everybody he needed to put in place, everybody that he wanted to put in place so that he can effectively take over the government. He's going to also try to suspend the Constitution so that he can, well, one senator tried this foolishness. And, since that has to go through the states, I don't see that passing, but it's still something you should concern yourself about. But let's talk about what he's been doing in front of the cameras with these tariffs and trade wars that he's trying to start. We'll try to go in each of these items one by one. Um, think about what happened during COVID and the supply chain issues that the country was going through. You had companies like Walmart, Target, Costco, all of them raising their prices and saying, hey, we have to charge more because it costs us more to get things here. They used the same tactic when under Bush, when gas prices went up during the war, where especially airlines, where they'd say we got to do an extra charge so that we can recoup our profits because the price of fuel, and the price of fuel has rarely ever come down to those levels before. So now during the pandemic, supply chain issues. So now they're charging more. Now supply chain issues have been cleared going on 3-4 years now. Price of nothing has come down. Everything stayed to where it was after the pandemic began, because companies realize, hey, if the American public is going to keep paying this, why lower our rates? Why lower the price of goods, since we can keep our profit margins high, which is why profits have shot up over the past 4 years to levels as 45, 47 would say, have never seen before. So this tariff war that he's trying to start, this trade war that he's trying to start, is stupid because the American dollar goes further than any other currency on the planet. It's why the American dollar is the currency of backup for every other country and every company on the planet. Well, just about, I should say. We can buy more with a dollar than you can any other currency on the planet, and that's a fact. You can do a simple Google search and see that. Like I said, it's why the banking system, worldwide banking system, uses the American dollar as its standard. So there is no trade war. There's no trade deficit that America has that other countries have set up. It's the companies that does this, and Trump wants to start this war so that his buddies who gave millions to hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign can raise rates and go, hey, it's the tariffs. And I guarantee you, once someone else is in office that'll cancel those tariffs, the prices will never come down again. They're going to stay where they are. And finally, Donald Trump said the first honest thing he's ever probably said in his life when he said, Americans will feel pain temporarily. Now, he added temporarily in to try to make you think, oh, well, it's going to go away. But you know damn well it's not. He doesn't care if it doesn't go away. I mean, hell, he and his children can eat every day. I was going to say kids. That's why I added the S to the children. Sorry. He and his kids will eat. He and his family will eat every day. Ours won't. Our families will suffer for it. And he knows it. He never cared about that. And the sad thing is his supporters will sit there and clap this up like it's some great thing. Do you know why goods are made by other countries? American companies in other countries? Because it's cheaper to do. These companies here did not want to pay the American population a fair wage. They wanted to go to a third world country and build that country's wealth, or really not build that country's wealth, take advantage of those countries' people by having them pay nothing to make our goods and to make our goods. And as far as the trade deficit, America sends more stuff to Canada, sends machinery and everything else to countries like China and Canada, the ones he has a real big issue with, and in fact Mexico. We send a lot of stuff to them just like they send to us. But you want to know the funny thing about this trade war that his ass has started is based upon a treaty that he himself put together and signed. So he's once again fussing about something he did and putting the onus on everybody else to correct it. Now, as far as this voting thing goes, if I remember right, less than 50% of African Americans, it might be less than 40%, I think it is 40%, have passports. And of those, of the totality of African Americans, especially older African Americans, maybe 35% know exactly where their birth certificate is. And I'm ashamed to say I'm one of these African Americans that don't have a passport. I've been meaning to get one, but I keep, letting it slide. Now, the funny thing is, less than 60% of white people also have passports. But of those 60%, 35-40% are Republican voters normally, because they're the wealthier of the Americans that would have a passport. The group that will surprise you that has passports in large groups are Hispanics, which are just behind whites, but that's because they mostly travel back and forth to their home countries if they weren't born here, or if they have family in other Latin countries. So again, this is to disenfranchise the already 3.5 million people that have been disenfranchised during the last election, based upon some stupid laws and rules that Republican states had passed to, purge voter rolls. Oh, why am I having trouble speaking today? But it just, like I said, it just goes to what this man is actually trying to do to this country. He's been saying America's a third world country and a shithole country. Well, he's turning it into that now. And he's doing it behind everybody's back while he sits there and says, like I said, says the dumbest things he can think of. Everybody is not paying attention. No one's paying attention to what's going on, to what Congress is trying to do. And like I said, the problem is he has mainstream media and some independent media in his back pocket, and he'll go and it's the reason why he sues a lot of people. And especially members of the media or media companies, because he wants them to settle. He wants them to not have to go through doing this. Remember, he sued CBS for the way they edited a Kamala Harris interview and got them to acquiesce and give him the original tapes. He's using his his government placements to intimidate everyone into going the way he wants to. And now you have mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, kowtowing to this shit, leaving the little guys like Farron Cousins, Jesse Dollemore, Kyle Kalinske, and others to Brian Tyler Cohen to tell the truth about what he's doing. And the sad thing is this shit is working. I mean, the people in the media I just said, most of you probably never even heard of or even ever listened to. And they're the only ones left because, like I said, everyone else is bending the knee to this tyrant, this fascist. And I'm going to call his ass a fascist because that's what he is. If you have fascists following you, they're not following you because you're even-handed in anything you're doing. No, you're fascist. And it's time for everybody to start. I mean, hell, this is my first video since the election. I'm not going to lie. I've been really lazy about this, but enough is enough. It's time for people like us, like me, to put out your own damn videos. Put out what you have to do to get the truth across. And no, the really hardcore MAGA won't pay attention. They won't care what you're saying, and they know it's true. They'll know all of this is true. It's just like with Trump lying and saying that he could bring down the price of eggs, and they've skyrocketed. The price of gas is going up. I'm paying almost 20 cents more per gallon since he's gotten elected than I did before. He never cared about the American people. He only cares about himself, and he showed that in his first term. That's why I don't understand how people don't get this now. I'm rambling. I didn't write a script for this. I'm rambling, but I know some of these things may come off as fake, as false, but if you do a simple search, you'll find a lot of it. It's part of the reason, and as far as the egg prices and stuff go, it's part of the reason why he's gotten rid of the government department that reports on pandemic and disease, knowing that the price of eggs have shot up because of bird flu, but that's not going to get reported anymore. Just like a week ago, there was a report that should have come out about a recall of certain, I think, Wegmans frozen chicken and chicken nuggets that should have been put out, but it wasn't, thanks to Donald Trump. And I've said his name again, and I'm embarrassed about that. I'm sorry. So now, everybody's safety is put. Well, he don't eat that kind. He does eat that crap, but everybody's safety is now put in danger. Danger, and you'll never know about it. So, people, it's time to pay attention. It's time to start fighting this crap. Don't worry about his suing you. Yeah, if you say something he doesn't like, let him. I mean, he can't sue everybody. He can't sue the whole country. He can try, but he can't. I mean, he even wants to use the military against American citizens. He's using ICE to intimidate. And it's gotten pathetic. And the sad shit is you won't hear most Republicans won't say nothing about it. And now even the goddamn Democrats are acting like a bunch of damn cowards and letting this shit happen. So both parties are allowing this shit to happen to us. And we're left twisting in the goddamn wind. And this shit has to end. This shit has to stop right now. It has to stop now. And, we got to talk about this shit because this country as we know it is over. And it's over now. And there's nothing nobody seems to want to do about it. There's nothing any politician wants to do about it except come out and say give us some, it'll be okay. We got to get through. No, it's not going to be okay. And it's time to start fighting this shit. Let's talk about this. It's something to talk about because it's important. You have to talk about it. You have to talk about this.